All right. I don't know if you can see me right now. YouTube's UI for starting live streams is kind of confusing, but hopefully you can see me now. Let me just I'm gonna keep the chat open here, and I'm super excited to to announce this. This has been a huge amount of work. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna just tweet this really quick. I know I've tweeted it a couple times, but I'm so excited about it, and I want to make sure that nobody misses it. Watch me now. Smiley face. Yeah, you're gonna need that. Okay, cool. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about testingjavascript.com. Wow, I am super excited about this thing. You notice I normally shave, but I am at my in-laws' house in St. George, and I forgot the charger for my shaver and ran out of battery. So there's that. My wife likes it. I hate it. But yeah, so testingjavascript.com, it's been so much work. If you've been around for a while, you know that testingjavascript.com is not new. It was released almost a year ago, and now it has been completely updated. Over the last year, there have been some cool innovations and new things, and tools break and change and stuff. And so I've revamped pretty much 90% of the course. Probably more has been totally re-recorded. The first version was 5 hours long. This version is 8.5 hours long, so it is a lot longer. And then we have 4 hours of expert interviews, lots and lots and lots of other stuff. So I am super excited to take you through some of this stuff, and we're gonna answer some questions in the Q&A, so feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will try to get to them after I go through the stuff that I've got for you. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is close Slack, because that is a total hog on the my computer's speed here. And I'm gonna switch to this view. Whoa! All right, sweet. So this is the tweet. I would love it if you could retweet this. That would be a nice thing to do. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through some of this stuff, and then we'll dive deeper into some things and answer your questions and stuff. So testingjavascript.com, huge discount going on right now. I'm logged in, so let me go to another window here. So yeah, 40% discount. It's a week long, and if you click on this, it'll take you down to the pricing area. And yeah, it's yours forever. So raise your hand if you have already purchased testingjavascript.com and you're just super excited because you get all of this updated stuff for free. Isn't that awesome? It's yours forever. Yeah, so happy day. You don't have to pay a single cent to get all the extra content. If you have not already bought the Testing JavaScript course, now is the best time to do it, because we never do a sale more than this. This is the biggest sale that we're doing. Now I'll mention with that a little caveat that we also support regional pricing. And so if you are coming from a country that has lower purchase power, then there should be a little link above the pricing area showing you that you can opt into a better rate for your country. So you could have actually an even better deal than the Black Friday deal based on your purchasing power. So you can take a look at that. So yeah, these are our levels. It's $199 right now, which is just stupendous. The amount of material you get is out of this world. You can get team discounts as well, and you can go up to the higher you go, the better discount you're going to get per license. And if you get up to 100 licenses, then that's $69 a license, which is, wow, that is amazing. So yeah, get your whole team on board and you will save big time. Yeah, let's see here. Let me just go back to that tweet and go through some of the things that I thought about this morning that I want to share. So all of this material, the only things that are not really updated a lot are the fundamentals in testing and fundamentals of mocking. Those two are like pretty much never going to need to change because fundamentals are fundamentals. And that said, I did add a intro. So now, instead of just landing in here and jumping right into the first lesson, I'm on 2x. You can go down to 0.8. Some people tell me that I talk super fast and they watch me on 0.8, which is very slow to me. But but yeah, you can watch it that slow. But yeah, so every single one of the modules has an intro. We also actually have an intro to the whole course that you can watch. That is just like, let's get an idea of what this thing is all about. And so, yeah, that should hopefully help you. I'll walk through what the project is, what you can expect for things. And people have told me that has been a little bit tricky when they just kind of land into things. And so that's why we jump into that. Since I'm here already, I'll just show you, we also have enhanced transcripts. So for many of these, you'll actually be able to embed, we have a code sandbox embed for the lesson, which is really cool. Others will have a link to a GitHub repo, and we'll also, I don't think we have it today, but very soon we'll have a link to a Git diff, so you can see what are the changes that he made in this module. But yeah, we have this enhanced transcript, which is basically a blog post version of the course material so that you can follow it. Like if you aren't a video watcher learner, then you can go through the blog post version, which I think is pretty rad. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Yeah, so all of these have been, this one was completely recorded, completely re-recorded, completely redone, and this one was updated in place because there's not a whole lot that needs to change on this one. And then test Node.js backends, that one, total new material. That's a brand new module, and it is awesome. It is a ton of content. Let's see, we've got, it's right here, 40 videos, 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours of learning about testing Node backends. This one's huge, and it is a ton of stuff. So, and on top of this, this one resembles the way that I do my workshops. So we're kind of experimenting with a different format here where I start out by giving you an intro to the thing that we're going to be learning, the specific concept that we're going to be learning. And we go through a markdown file that kind of gives you some background. You can read through it yourself. And then we have an exercise that like a section in the markdown that talks about the exercise and what your objective for the exercise is. And then I let you hang out on that actual exercise. Here, so let me just pause this. So this is that markdown file. It has the background, the exercise, and then some extra credit that you can dive into. And then like you're gonna pull this down. I show you how to do this in the intro. But then you can go to the exercise file right next to it, and it will have emoji showing you exactly what you're supposed to do, writing through these tests so that you can really solidify in your mind what these things are. And then you can also go through the extra credit and enhance it, and then compare that to the final version. Spoiler alert. And then you can, once you finish going through the exercise, then you can move on to the next video where I'm going to walk through the solution myself. And so you can compare your version to my version, and you can watch through all the extra credits as well. So this one is a really kind of a unique one that I think you're really, really going to love. Yeah, I like testing Node is a huge addition here. So you're going to love that. Okay, so let's see. We still have those interviews, over 4 hours of interview content with these amazing professional testers. And these printouts are awesome. You get to print out the fully annotated transcripts, that's a lot of stuff, but it's just like the whole thing in blog format. So if that's the way that you learn, you'll love that. The testing glossary. So I try to explain the words as I'm teaching you them, and the glossary is a great reference after the fact. The testing checklist, like if you're wondering, okay, so what do I even test and how do I go about testing that thing? The testing checklist will help you a lot. And the JavaScript testing poster, you can print that on a giant poster and plaster it on like the wall in your as a team, so you all are like, yeah, we're on the same page with what kind of testing we should be doing. I've got a bunch of recommendations from people, and I definitely could add a lot more testimonials that people have sent me over the last year about testing JavaScript. Just warms my heart when people say nice things. Yeah, so all of the code is available, and there will very soon be a link to a Git diff, so you can see, okay, these are the changes that he made. In every video I have, like, in review, this is what we did, but it can be helpful to just look at the diff and see it all right there. So we're going to have a link to that very soon, so you can see what's the diff between what he did and what he did before. So we also have a testing JavaScript community of already 560 people on that community right now. 28 of those people are online at the time I took the screenshot. There will be many, many more. And so, yeah, you don't have to learn completely alone. You can chat with those people and help each other out, solidify your understanding by helping each other. And seriously, I'm not joking. You will learn way, way more if you help other people. So, like, experience basically is exposure to problems. That's what experience is. And so in participating in our community, you expose yourself to more problems because other people have problems that you never considered before. And so I strongly advise that you spend some time in the community as you're learning this stuff. Expose yourself to the problems that they're having, and you'll solidify your understanding of these concepts really quick. Yeah, talked about testing Node. Really, really awesome stuff there. And the intro videos for each of the modules is awesome. And then this is what we're doing right now, that live stream. I already got a question that I'm going to continue on this tweet thread, questions and answers. So one person asked me whether the skills taught in the course are transferable, applicable to other popular JavaScript frameworks and libraries and stuff. And I answered with this: React is an implementation detail, so whatever framework you're using, whatever, it will be applicable. Testing frameworks as well will be cross-applicable. Like, you can, if you're doing React but you're using Mocha or something, then you can use React testing library with Mocha. That's no problem. And specifically in the course, I do have a module on configuring Jest, but all of the same problems you run into with Jest, you will also run into with Mocha. And I'll give you the right terminology, and not just Mocha, but like Jasmine, whatever, Karma. And I'll give you the right terminology of things that you need to consider as you configure those tools as well. So it definitely cross-applies. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. I think you're going to totally dig it. And now I'm going to eat your face off, apparently, in that first frame there. Yeah, so what questions do you have? That is what I'm here for right now. And I'm just going to go through these and answer the questions. I'm going to switch to just me because there's no reason for you to see what I'm looking at now, and I'll switch back if I need to share something with you. And I'll just kind of move things over so I can see that better. Okay, so somebody's commenting on my facial hair, just looking around for question marks. If we purchase the basic or standard testing, can we upgrade to the next level at a reduced price at any time? So yeah, if you purchase basic or standard testing today, then later you can upgrade to pro or like the next level up. You will, unless you do that during a discount time, you will not get a discount. And I'm not even actually, I don't do the support or the like manage the platform of testingjavascript.com. I just make the content and do videos like this to tell you how great it is. And so yeah, I can't tell you specifically like what the whether you'll get a discount if you upgrade right now, but I know that you will not get a discount if you upgrade later. So if you want to get pro at a discount, then you'll buy it today. But if you can't afford it or whatever, then you can buy a lower level today, and then you can upgrade for just what the difference between those two levels will be at that time. So yes, TypeScript support is great. As cool as Flow is, and I liked Flow, there were some problems, and there's clearly a winner in the typed JavaScript community, and so that's why I've switched from Flow to TypeScript in the material. So we've got TypeScript stuff now. It's going to be great. Yeah, and as just a general reminder, if you already have a license to testing JavaScript, then all of the content you had before is now totally updated and totally free. So you don't have to do anything, opt in or whatever, to get that updated material. It's all absolutely yours right now for free, which is awesome. Thank you for supporting me. And yeah, we got a bunch of raised hands. Yes. Thank you so much for trusting me enough to buy this when I first released it. Now you can tell all your friends how great it is. Okay. Just looking through some questions. So Niraj is asking about my PayPal React testing being blocked. You actually asked me about that in my AMA or something, and I told you I don't know. It is not blocked for me. So I have a lot of free content. So if this stuff is too expensive for you or something, just check out my YouTube channel, my blog. I have so much free content out there. And it's a big thank you to the people who pay me money on testing JavaScript that allows me to make that free content. So it's accessible to people who may not have a boss who can pay for it, or a job that pays them enough that they can manage to buy a license. So thank you for supporting me in that. We're making the world a better place together. Yeah, I don't know why the PayPal training is blocked for you. It works for me. So it's just on YouTube. Where is the regional pricing option? Desane is asking. I'm wondering whether the... I actually don't know. So I didn't implement that feature. It is right above the pricing area. I have seen it before, but because I'm in the United States, I don't get regional pricing, so I can't look at it myself. Yeah, I have seen it before. It's just right above the pricing area. There should be a link that you can click on, and it'll give you that other pricing. If you're not seeing it, then that is because we don't support the regional pricing in your country, or it might be that the Egghead folks who are managing the platform have disabled it during this Black Friday sale. That could be, and you just wait until Black Friday is over to get that. I'm not sure. Yeah. You can send, if you have any questions, like technical questions about stuff like that, then send an email to help@testingjavascript.com, and they can help you out, answer questions that you have. Okay, let me answer some more questions. Oh, whoops, I just got zipped down to the bottom here. Yeah, so Millennial Dev said, I need to see it at 0.8x, too much knowledge for me. That's why we make it that way. People tell me that I talk really fast, and it's something that I'm working on. But here, the way that I feel about it is, you have so much limited time. So your core responsibility is to ship the product that you're building, right? My responsibility is to go through all of the learning process that I have to go through so that I can put this stuff into my brain so I can teach it to you. And I just think that it is advisable for me to make the best use of your time. So I spend a lot of time learning all this stuff. I learned it really over a long period of time, and then I scrunch down that learning so that you don't have to spend all that time learning. Because if you had all of that time to learn, then you just go learn it yourself. You don't need the course. But you don't. You need to ship something, and so you need to put this stuff into your brain as fast as possible. So I try not to waste any of your time, but yes, if you do need to slow it down, we give you that option. And guess what? You can watch it as many times as you want. So, and I know that some people do watch it several times. So absolutely do that. It is no shame. Marek is saying buy it. Thank you, Marek. How many other people, raise your hand if you recommend that people buy this course? I hope there are a lot of people. That this could backfire really bad, but I hope a lot of people raise their hand. Okay, let's just see. Okay, looks like I should look at all of the comments, because it looks like the discount pricing is there. Yeah, so I'll just answer a question. Yeah, here we go. If we purchase the basic or standard, can we update? Yeah, I think I answered that. Do you advise to code along or sit back and absorb, then practice? So This is a great question. Thank you, Raghu. So I actually recommend that you do not follow along, except for the testing node one where I have specific exercises. What I recommend is you watch it, and then find after you watch maybe an entire module or maybe a couple of lessons where you're like, oh, that really clicks. Once you find that thing that's like, oh, I know where I could apply this, then stop the videos and go apply it in your own project. So don't follow along with my code. The problem is you can just be mindlessly following along and not learning anything. So just focus on the video. I actually recommend speeding it up, even though I'm talking fast. Speed it up because that'll force you to focus on it. And then you can go, once you're like, okay, yeah, I understand that, or I sort of understand, I'm not sure I understand that, but I think it'll apply here, then go to your project and apply it to your project. And then like struggle around with it a little bit. You can reference the video, watch it again, and then continue on. That is the best way to consume this material, is watch it, maybe on faster speed or maybe on normal speed. Just focus really closely on what I'm saying, and then continue on from there. And I think you'll be way better off trying to apply it to your own project. For the testing node one, like I said, it's a bit of an experiment, but there are actual exercises. So for that one, you definitely want to pull it down, work through the exercises. You'll really solidify your stuff. It resembles really closely my remote workshops that I've been doing, and people seem to really like that learning approach. What is new in each one of the courses? Great question, Daniel. Let me share my screen now, and we'll actually go through the logged in portion. Okay, so like I said, fundamentals of testing, that one is not updated other than having an intro at the beginning. So you can feel free to watch that again to revamp your knowledge of the fundamentals. I recommend that, but yeah, that one's unchanged. Static analysis testing JavaScript applications, this is totally new. So we've got the intro still. We're still linting. I show you like how to set up the extension, and using pre-built ESLint configuration using ascends, that's new. Running ESLint with npm scripts and prettier, configuring prettier, the VS Code extension. So lots of it isn't like totally new, but it's like the same stuff just expanded. So there's more stuff that I talk about, and it's totally up to date. In fact, I went through just on Monday because I didn't record all this on Monday, of course. Oh, crazy. So there has been a bit of time between the time I got it recorded and the time you're seeing it. And so on Monday, I went through every single branch and updated all of the dependencies. And that is a really complicated process because of the way that I do things. But I wanted to do it for you because I love you and I want you to have the most up-to-date stuff. So everything is up to date as of Monday. Totally the latest versions of everything. Yeah, so I show you how to configure prettier and make it work nicely with the ESLint. And yeah, let's see, that's lots of this is similar. Now we're switching from Flow to TypeScript. If you want to continue using Flow, like you're using Flow, you're happy with it, you keep doing that because Flow is awesome. I just switched to TypeScript for the material because I think that it is kind of winning in the community, and so there's a larger community there. They are pretty different in some respects, and so like you can judge for yourself, but I think that you'll probably be better off using TypeScript despite that. That said, we don't use TypeScript through all the material of the course, and mostly the reason for that is because I don't want you to be distracted by TypeScript if you've never used it before. And so if we're using TypeScript through the whole course, then you'd be distracted by all the TypeScript things that we have to do rather than focusing on the things that we're learning in the module, in the particular lesson. So I show you how to set up TypeScript, and then you can go off and learn. And maybe one day I'll have a module about TypeScript, but and that will be a free upgrade. Yeah, that is mostly JavaScript and everything else. But yeah, so I show you how to make ESLint and TypeScript happy together. And then we do some other stuff. Lots of this stuff is the same as it was before, just totally re-recorded. So then the mocking stuff, that just has an intro, and then it's the same stuff. Again, I recommend reviewing that. Remember, both of these fundamentals ones are pretty short, so it's 8 minutes here, 15 minutes here. So just take some time, review the material. Pretty free to do that. So and it's like really important that you nail these fundamentals. You will not be as successful using the rest of this stuff if you don't get the fundamentals. So I strongly advise that. Okay, so configuring this one is all totally re-recorded. We have an intro for that, and then lots of this stuff is the same as it was before, just like slightly tweaked for the new configuration options. In particular, there is the setup files after env. So fun quick story about that. This one used to be called setup test framework file, I think. And I didn't like that because it was a single file, and so like you basically, if you needed to do multiple things in that as part of that, then you had to create a file for it. And with setup files after env, you can actually give an array, and it's an array of files, so you can reference a module. So like just DOM has extend expect. You can just stick that right in there, and it will require it. You don't have to create a file to import that module. So anyway, when I was making the first version of this, we had to use setup test framework file or something, whatever that was called, and I didn't like that, so I filed an issue, and then I continued recording, and then literally like a month or two later, they added setup files after env, and I was like, I made my course out of date. Well, it wasn't really out of date. The old way still worked, but once they bumped to the next major version, then you started getting a warning for the old way. And so I did that to myself, but it is way better. I'm super excited to now show you how to use that. And yeah, we just go through all of this stuff. We still got the Node debugger. You can use the VS Code debugger if you want to, but I actually really like the Node debugger. I'm really comfortable in my Chrome DevTools, so I like doing that there. Yeah, we get through all of the analyzing code coverage reports, making it work in CI, and yeah, and then I actually reordered some of these things too from the previous version, so that it just kind of made more sense and what the use cases were, like the projects and things, and the type ahead. So yeah, some of these things have been reordered, and like of course it was re-recorded, so the reordering flows really nicely. And then React testing, most of this stuff is the same. There have been a few changes, but like it's all re-recorded, and there's the intro. Yeah, so we've got the Jest DOM stuff, and between last year and this year, React Testing Library and the whole testing library family switched to a scope package, and so all of your old stuff didn't really work. You'd have to switch it to a scope package. So now it's all using the scope package properly. Yeah, so that's working nicely. I changed a few things with the way that I recommend it. We now have the find by queries, and so those ones are all in here and recommended. We also have the new user event module that I think you're going to really like a lot. And yeah, Jest Acts. So I added a feature to Jest Acts between last year and this year that makes it way easier to use, especially with React Testing Library. And so yeah, I added that feature, and then I recorded a video on how to make that use that feature. And in case you didn't know, I'm the creator of React Testing Library, so there's not really anybody that you can learn about React Testing Library who knows it better than I do. So there's that. Yeah, so I show you all the ins and outs of the testing library tools. And I didn't write all the testing library tools, I'll make that clear. So I created Jest DOM. It was internal as part of React Testing Library, and then we externalized it, and now somebody else is maintaining that. Thank you. And then user event is also a testing library tool, and I didn't create that at all. Somebody else is maintaining that as well. I am the creator of DOM Testing Library, React Testing Library. I initially created Jest DOM, but it's kind of expanded beyond what I made it to be. And I created and maintained Cypress Testing Library. So those are the ones I maintain. But we also have Svelte Testing Library, Vue Testing Library, Puppeteer Testing Library, Test Cafe Testing Library. There are like And somebody I think is working on a .NET like C# Selenium testing library, which I think is totally rad. So testing library is the way to go. Okay, so yeah, lots of this stuff was kind of the same thing. I added a component to catch error boundary. Actually, that one was in the one last year, but kind of changed that one a little bit to enhance it. So like I said, we went from 5 hours to 8.5 hours, and only 2.5 of those, almost 2.5 of those, was the new Node course. So the rest of that hour and 10 minutes or whatever is spread across all these other courses. So we have just more material. And remember, this is like super high value to minute ratio content. And so when I say it's an hour and 10 minutes more of material, that is like so much content, so many new concepts. And so we enhance the error boundary stuff. And we get into, there's test-driven development in here. We manage like error state, so edge cases, that kind of thing. Custom render, share code. Yep, that's a really important one. You want to definitely look at that. We have React Router in here. I think in the last one I may have used Reach Router. I can't remember. No, it was React Router. So I stuck with React Router because that one's Reach is going to kind of go away, I think, and React Router is going to be the main thing, but they're going to just merge and be awesome. So I stuck with React Router, as cool as Reach Router is. And then we have Redux in here, mostly just showing you how to render stuff with a provider. I really don't recommend Redux for most cases, but there's just so many people using Redux. They need to know how to test it properly because so many people are testing Redux wrong. And so that's why we're getting into Redux there. Then last year it was all about render props. This year it's all about hooks. So I have a bunch of videos showing you how to test custom hooks. I recommend that you don't just test custom hooks, but like that are used in one, maybe two components. But if you have a library or something, then you can test that in isolation, and that's what I show you how to do in here. And actually, I have a blog post about that, but I have a blog post about tons of things, and you can find them all. If you go to kensiedodds.com/search, then you can search through my over 150 maybe blog posts in here. I've written a lot about stuff, and if you search testing, then you'll find a bunch of stuff about testing. So we're trying to find a good way to give you a linkage between my blog, which gives you a lot of the philosophy and the like conceptual why, and testingjavascript.com, which gives you the how and the nuts and bolts of things. And so we're going to start associating the lessons with blog posts that are relevant to those lessons. So you can look forward to that. That'll be really cool. And then I wanted to show you this too. So we're doing an integration testing with like the full app. So render the entire app and navigate around it. And there's a spoiler here. It's so cool. So we test it, then we make it a little bit more reliable with using find queries exclusively and using the user event module. And at the very end of this one, I switch us from React Router to Reach Router, and everything continues to work. And we're using context. We could switch that to Redux, and it would continue to work. It is so cool, and this is the power of integration testing. So you're going to really, really love this. This one, it's just fantastic. I'm super excited about that one. I kind of went through testing Node backends. This one is all completely and entirely new, and it is so much stuff. We get into like unit testing of the small little things, and then integration testing of the big API endpoints and stuff, and authentication and all of that stuff, and interaction with the database. And we get into really deep stuff with testing Node. Awesome. I'm super excited. And even if you're not doing Node backends, this will teach you a ton about testing Node in general. So if you have a CLI or something that you want to build, then you'll absolutely learn what you need from testing Node backends. Okay, so then we have our Cypress end-to-end. There's a lot of stuff here, right? Like, wait, you're probably getting bored of how much stuff there is. You're just like, I just need to watch this. Yes, you do. And you're probably not going to want to do it in one sitting. It's almost like there's a lot of stuff, and you can just learn so much from this. That's kind of what it's like. So yeah, Cypress, we've got the intro. Everything was re-recorded. There's not a whole lot that's different necessarily from last year, but it is all completely updated. Yeah, so we get into all of the regular stuff that you need to do with Cypress. I show you a little bit more than I would typically do with Cypress, just so you get an understanding of how things work. Typically with Cypress, and this is a perfect place where I'd show you the trophy blog posts, where I show you, okay, this is the separation between end-to-end, integration, and unit, and static. These are the responsibilities that those things should have. So I show you a little bit getting maybe into integration testing stuff. With Cypress, I pretty much just focus on end-to-end, and normally I'm focused on the happy path in my end-to-end. And it's normally like a full flow from beginning to end. That's typically how I'm going to write my Cypress test. But in here, I show you how to do more integration testy things, because sometimes there's some things that you have to do to make things work nicely, even for that full end-to-end and integration style testing with Cypress. Me showing you that will help you know how you can work around some of those things specific to your application. So that's that. And then the last one we have is using DOM testing library to test any framework. This one was actually not updated as much. We have the intro, but then most of the lessons were not changed because most of the frameworks didn't really change. And honestly, this module is mostly just to show you the general idea of how you create a wrapper around a DOM testing library. There's not a whole lot more that you need to do. It's pretty normal, and most people know how to render their component, their AngularJS component or whatever, or their hyper app component or whatever, to a DOM, and then from there it's just DOM testing library stuff. So all of the tests look the same. So one that was updated was Svelte, because Svelte, the most recent version of Svelte is quite different from the version that I recorded. So that one's a totally new video. But the rest of these are not new. And that's that. And then the interviews are all the same as they were before, and the printables, the annotated transcripts are updated, of course, because I said different things. But that is that. That's a full update of everything in the course. So great question, Daniel. So great. Let me switch this back to just my face. Hi. And then we'll continue on with the questions that you have. How do your testing JavaScript courses differ from the front-end masters one? Great question. Testingjavascript.com is an enormously more amount of material. Yep, that's pretty much and I am going to front-end masters in March to update some of the material on front-end masters, the testing React stuff. And so what you have on front-end masters is basically my testing React module, but not all that. Not as much, because there's only so much you can fit in a day of an in-person workshop. And so yeah, you get way more material on testingjavascript.com. So that's that. Question about paying an installment. You can send an email to help@testingjavascript.com. I don't think that there's a way to do that, but you can ask them and see what they have to say. I don't manage payment or reimbursements or any of that stuff. They manage that for me. So there's only so much I know about that. Any interest in adding testing JavaScript to the GitHub student pack? That sounds interesting. If you have a way to connect me with somebody, I'd be interested in chatting with them about that. I like students. I can't afford right now a discount for Christmas. I can't make any promises there. I actually don't make pricing decisions. That's all Egghead. They do that, and they say, "Hey Ken, we're gonna do a pricing thing for Black Friday." Okay, and now here I am in my in-laws' house doing a live stream to tell you all about it. So, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. Is the Node course only for JavaScript version? Any TypeScript support? So I only show you JavaScript, but if you know TypeScript, you can absolutely apply the concepts. And it's not like you're gonna want to take my material and ship my material. That wouldn't make any sense. So all that really matters from my material is that you get the concepts. And if you already know TypeScript, then applying the concepts that I teach you in the Node course or the Node module will apply really well. Like you'll just be able to use all the concepts whether you're using TypeScript or JavaScript. If you don't know TypeScript, then you'll need to go, and you want to know TypeScript, then you need to learn that, I guess. I don't really teach you TypeScript. I teach you how to set up TypeScript, but I don't teach you how to use TypeScript. Any thoughts on adding Redux testing? I'm gonna guess that question was asked before I showed you that I do show Redux testing. If I buy Pro, will cover the course in the future? Yes. So and that's like on testingjavascript.com, right above the pricing, it says buy once, yours forever. And so like all the people who raised their hands earlier saying that, yes, I bought it and I'm super excited about the update, it's yours free. Totally free upgrade for you. Thanks for buying it earlier. Any options for split payment? Somebody else asked that. Feel free to email help@testingjavascript.com. Can you tell a bit more about streaming? Just wonder if it's feasible to use a country discount. I'm not sure I understand the question, but it sounds kind of technical, so feel free to email help@testingjavascript.com and they will be able to answer your question better than I, because I don't manage the technical details of stuff like that. Bought your Pro version of the course 2 weeks ago. Can I get the difference as a refund? You can feel free to send an email to help@testingjavascript.com. Is there a bulk download button? Or do we download each section? I think that there is not a bulk download button. You have to download each section. Luckily for you, there are only 8 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be pretty quick. So that's good. Okay, so YouTube just like bumped my comments all over the place. There we go. Yeah, so, and again, to be clear, Aaron answered David's question. I just want to clarify. I absolutely have used Redux. I don't just tell people not to use it because I don't like the name or something. I definitely have used Redux. I know how it works and I know how to test it, and I show you how to test it in testingjavascript.com, even though I don't recommend it because a lot of people have it and they want to know how to test it. So I show you how, and it works great. You're going to love it. Steven has already started the Node stuff and already loves it. Yes, that's great news. Thanks, Steven. Okay, my goal for the course is to build a DOM testing library wrapper for Lightning Web components. That's cool. Good luck, Adrian. You're going to love it. That's so awesome. So Kyle said the course is totally worth the money, just my 2 cents. Thanks, Kyle. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel warm inside. Do I have a list of the updated content? I just told you all the updated content. I don't have a list, so that last 15 minutes is the best I can give you. Basically 90% of it has been updated. So, Kent, thank you for the course. Future content on React Native. Okay. So, I don't do React Native. I have built Hello World in React Native with Expo, and I thought it was amazing, but I don't really do React Native. I don't foresee myself doing React Native anytime soon, so it's unlikely that I'll show you how to test it. But, good news for you, and let me just switch this here. If you go to testinglibrary.com, which is what I'm teaching you, is testing library, we've got a bunch of implementations, like I said, and one of those, boom, native testing library. That is React native testing library. So you install testing library React Native, and that will basically all the same. So they actually have their own site where you can learn about the specifics of their API, the setup, but like so much of this is the same. If you go and look at the same page on React testing library, it basically looks identical. So there's so much of the same stuff. The async utilities are basically all the same as well. So yeah, you're gonna you can learn all of the stuff on testingjavascript.com and then just install React Native testing library and start applying all that. So the concepts super duper apply. And I went to a talk at a meetup recently where they were the talk was about React Native testing library. And I was able to give them pointers and tell them stuff because even though I've never used the library, because I wrote the other testing library family of tools, a couple of those, and so it all cross applies super well. So if you're doing React Native, absolutely testingjavascript.com will help you big time. Another question in my experience, is it easy to implement with the current content? Yes. Great question, Hans. How fast you speak doesn't matter. We can adjust the speed. Yes, absolutely. In Cypress testing and Cucumber, sort of similar. So I used Cucumber a long time ago, at the very beginning of my career, and I was super confused because I was brand new to programming, and I think it was in Ruby. I've never done Ruby, and the guy that was teaching me was using Vim, and I was just like mesmerized by his use of Vim. So I can't really tell you a ton about how similar it is to Cucumber, but it's super awesome, I can tell you that. Look at all these people raising their hands saying that it's absolutely worth the money. Thank you. Boom. We got 2 hands. We got 4 hands. I don't know how Geronima, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. But he's raising 4 hands. Feet. Okay. Okay, sweet. 20,000 subscribers on YouTube? What? I did not know that. That can't be real. I was at like 14,000. No way. I'm at 20,000 now. That's cool. Thank you, Giovanni. Okay. Are the new changes significant that I have to rewatch the course again if I already watched the first version? Good question, Ollie. So what I would say is first off, it's how comfortable are you with your testing right now today? Are you like feeling super on top of things, or are you feeling like there's still gaps? And if you're feeling like there's still gaps, then it's absolutely worth the time. And if you've already watched it all and you feel pretty confident with it, but you're like, oh, I'm not sure, you can absolutely watch it again. You watch it on 2x, or if you open up your DevTools, you can speed it up to 3x, which is, actually I do that. Yeah, you could watch it super fast, take it from 8.5 hours down to 4 or even less, and just watch it over time. And yeah, I think that you'll pick up some really cool things, because there are definitely some changes and some new material, like I was showing you, as well. And not just in testing Node, but in the other modules we add some new stuff. So yeah, I would recommend going through it again, and then tweet it and say, hey, I think it's great. Hey, we've got Sebastian in here. So quick shout out to Sebastian, who has done a ton to contribute to the React testing library and DOM testing library, the family of tools there. Thank you so much, Sebastian. You've been an awesome help in the open source front for testing library. It's been super stupendous. So thank you, Sebastian. Silberman, yes, thank you so much. I hope to meet you one day to like shake your hand and give you a hug if you're a hugging kind of person. Okay, it's amazing the concept that you mentioned about avoiding testing implementation details. Yeah, and I've got a blog post about that. We're gonna sprinkle those blog posts throughout the course so you can get both the like nuts and bolts and how, as well as the philosophy and why. You're gonna love that. So yeah, Douglas is wondering, paid for the Brazil license, is the update included? Yes, it is. Hooray! So you get all the updated content. If you're a pro subscriber, you also get the new testing Node stuff, which is cool. Yeah, so the bonus content that Dino is asking about, bonus content is this stuff I am just sharing. Oh, I'm still sharing my screen. Yeah, the bonus content are the interviews and the printables. So yeah, there's that. Okay, and let me just share my face again because it's, yeah. 100% recommended. Thank you. Adding Jess to an old project increased my salary. What? That's awesome. Cool. Congratulations, Millennial Dev. Boom. Yes. Okay. What plan you've recommended for personal use? I would absolutely recommend the Pro. It's kind of a funny question because so if you just want to learn, I'll just tell you the basics of the different plans, and let me go to that pricing page here really quick so that you can see that. So the price, this is my locked in version. There we go. Going down here, we've got all the content. It's amazing, so much stuff, and then we price it. Okay, so basic testing, you're gonna get fundamentals of testing JavaScript, static. Here, let me bump that up so you can see that a little bit better. Right there. Static testing and JavaScript fundamentals. So you'll get the fundamentals, you'll have an understanding of what these things do, but you're not going to learn about configuring Jest or testing like React or like DOM stuff you'll just get the fundamentals. So we don't actually touch on DOM at all in those modules. So that's the basics, and it is useful. I think that you'll really like it, and it'll get you a good foundation of what testing is. That's why I created the modules, is so whether you're total beginner at testing or advanced, most of the time people skip over the fundamentals even though they've been testing for a long time. So this will like give you those fundamentals. With the standard testing, you're going to also get configuring Jest and configuring and using Cypress. So you won't necessarily know how to use these tools to write or use Jest specifically to write tests, but you'll at least have Jest set up, and you can fumble your way through tutorials and stuff. And Cypress actually, if you're brand new to testing, and I've got a blog post about this, let me show you. Let's see, start testing. Nope. What is it called? Test. How to get started. Yeah, how to add testing to an existing project. So in this blog post, I tell you that the first test that you should write after you've done static, which is what you get even with the basic, after you've done static, the first test you should write is an end-to-end test. That will give you a huge amount of confidence, and so that's why that's included in the standard. And then you also get the configuring Jest, so you can get started on the rest of the testing trophy in between. So you get the base of the testing trophy with this, you get the top of the testing trophy with this, and you get started on the middle of the testing trophy with that. And so that's where that is. But the pro is where it's at, because the pro, and here, let me take that away. I'm gonna refresh here. Coming down, so we get the normal pricing without the team. Okay, so yeah, then the Pro is going to give you everything. So you're going to get your Node backend covered. You're going to get testing with React Testing Library. And if you're not using that framework, then you're going to learn how to test with other frameworks. So that will fill in the middle of the trophy. So it just kind of depends on what your goals are. But the Pro also gets the interviews, all these interviews from industry experts, and the printables. So you get a lot more with Pro, and so that's what I would recommend. Okay, so let me just go back to just my face, because I know how much you like seeing my scruff. Just kidding. Do you recommend a tool for React Native end-to-end testing, since Cypress does not apply? Steven is wondering. So I have never done end-to-end with native. I have heard, I think it's Wix that has a tool called Detox, and that's what I've heard as like the standard that people use. I can't really tell you much more about that. It sounds interesting, but yeah, sorry. Are there a lot of exercises? Do you have plans to add them so we can learn better? Exercises without video, just get diff to practice. Okay. So there are exercises for testing Node. There are not specific exercises for the other modules, but there will be the get diff, so that you can see what the difference is. And really, as cool as it is to work through exercises, it's way better to try and take what you're learning and apply it to something else, which is why I recommend the best way to go through the course is to watch it until you think of something like, oh, that applies to this thing at work. Pause it then. Go do it at your work project or whatever. Play around with it. Maybe you have a playground that you like to play around with or whatever. And then once you get that, that'll really solidify it in your brain. Even better than exercises, like way better than exercises, is applying it yourself. So that is that. Advise some additional materials on testing theory, practice, some books or blogs. Oh, actually, sorry, I skipped over a question. I'm curious to know, it's harder part on making a new version of JavaScript testing. The hardest part probably was, okay, I'm going to be real with you people. The hardest part was knowing that testing JavaScript version 1 was super, super, super good. It was already amazing. And there were just like one or two things that like tools had changed, and so they were out of date, and you would get a warning in the log and stuff like that. And so it was really hard to motivate myself to update everything, just because I thought, you know what, like that's just a couple of things that are changed and they can figure it out. It's like, so it was just hard to motivate myself. But once I started doing it, then I was like, okay, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be so good. So, and especially when I decided let's add testing Node, then I really got excited about it. So that was the hardest part. Okay, and yeah, advising on other materials on testing theory. So I give you a lot in testing JavaScript. Like those expert interviews are really good. My blog, and like I said, we're gonna link those together a lot more closely. My blog is so full of material. I've actually thought about, and maybe I will, make a book out of my blog, basically taking pieces of my blog, making it more coherent, and making a testing book out of that, because there's absolutely enough content to have like a 100, maybe 200 page book out of that material. So yeah, I don't really have books that I about testing that I can recommend that I really know. Yeah, so that's that. Maybe one day I'll have my own. The community Slack group. We don't have a Slack, but we do have a Spectrum community that you'll get a link to when you sign up for the course. So right at the very top here, you have that community site. You can click on that and go to the community site. And there are over 500 people on there right now. Maybe more by now as we're talking here. Okay, cool. So new interviews expected. I'm actually thinking about that. I've done some thoughts about that. And if you have Pro, you'll get those for free as an update. But I'm not going to give any promises. But maybe. I've definitely considered that. +1 for TypeScript. Yeah. Everything available on Egghead. No. Technically, it is all hosted on Egghead, but you cannot watch it on Egghead. This is a separate thing. Thank you, Will, for answering that question. I should read what people, what other people say. 40 node videos, sick. Yeah. I don't recommend changing to Reach Router. No, if you're using React Router right now, you stick with React Router. If you're using Reach Router right now, stick with Reach Router. Wait until the next version of React Router comes out before you switch. And I know this is actually what with Ryan Florence and Michael Jackson have said about the current state of routers. Just stick with what you have today. There will be a new thing, and they will have a nice migration path, as they always have. So, yes, stick with what you've got. Do you have lessons about MobX or MobX state tree? I do not, but the things that you learn in the React. So here's the cool thing. So your state management library is an implementation detail. And because I teach you to avoid implementation details, then all of the things that I teach you will apply regardless of what implementation details you're using. So whether you're using Redux or React Router or Reach Router or whatever it is, you're going to apply the same principles and it will work great. So don't worry about what state management library you're using. It will work with what I'm going to teach you in testingjavascript.com. Testing Apollo client. So GraphQL is a little bit of a unique one, especially with Cypress. I've heard a lot of people have had trouble with Cypress and GraphQL. I've never tested GraphQL with Cypress myself. When I was at PayPal, the app that I was using Cypress with did not support GraphQL. And so I didn't really have to worry about it. So that's tricky. But yeah, so as far as like the unit and integration testing, I know that there are libraries to mock Apollo client, and so I would look into those. I haven't done it myself, and it's not included in testingjavascript.com. Thank you, Joa. I'm not sure if I said your name right, but thank you. Going to school with Kenzie Dodds. Yeah, actually, just quick aside, I have a lot of stuff like testingjavascript.com coming. Like in, this is not like weeks, this is months and years. But I have some really cool plans, like a KCD university type thing. So if you like the way that I teach, then thank you. That makes me feel good. But I'm going to have way more things like think about React, think about JavaScript, HTML, CSS. It's going to be great. So some cool plans in the future. And yeah, best practice testing GraphQL on Apollo. That would be a great question to ask in the community because, like I said, I haven't tested GraphQL or Apollo. I have ideas of what I might do, but I've never actually implemented those or seen them in action or talked with people who, I have certainly talked with people who have had these problems, but I haven't come up with a solution that I think I can recommend. So ask people in the community. There are solutions to these problems. Yeah, you're welcome, Daniel. Thank you. Okay. I'm getting down to the end of the questions, and then I'm going to wrap things up and hang out with my family. So let's just answer the last couple questions. thinking about buying the subscription, thank you, Sid. And it's actually not a subscription, it's a license, and you get it forever. Yay! How long is the tutorial? 10 hours? It is 8.5 hours plus 4 hours of interviews, giving you a grand total of 12.5 hours plus printables. So there you go. That is awesome. Boss purchased V1, and he sent the generated link. However, we cannot see the link for download. Do you know why? Yeah, so so first of all, like if you have V1 of testingjavascript.com, you're going to get the free upgrade. And regional pricing does not support downloading videos. And Egghead decided to do that because they don't want somebody like buying it in one country, downloading all the videos, and then just taking it to wherever else. Yeah, like if you're in California, you could just like go across the border to Mexico or whatever. So, I mean, you can VPN too, so don't be dishonest or anything. But yeah, that's the reasoning there. Yeah, thanks for that. Is it possible to buy standard plus one additional module? No, it's not. So what you see is what is available. What is the white cup behind you? So this is my in-laws, and my father-in-law is super into golfing, so it says, I'd rather be golfing. That's what that is. So yeah, that's what that white cup is. Yeah, so Marcelo, I realized that there are certain countries that have lower purchasing power. Your money doesn't go as far, and that's why we have regional pricing. So right above the pricing area, there should be a link that shows the an opt-in for the regional pricing. So enjoy that. What about connected React router for Redux? If you're using that, you will absolutely be able to apply these principles that I teach you in testingjavascript.com to whatever you're using. You're going to love that. Course based on React workshops. Yes, Raghu, that is what I'm talking about. So I'll just show you, just for fun. If you go to kentcdawes.com/workshops, and then you click on React, you're like, boom, 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 boom. Those are all modules for my future React version of testingjavascript.com. So we've got the testing thing. Those are all modules from Testing JavaScript. We have a JavaScript one. That's I'll add more of those in the future. But yeah, so you can look at these and see them as basically different versions of those, which is kind of cool and exciting. You're gonna love that. I'm super excited about it. Okay. Couple third-party plugins. Yeah, hey, thanks, Aaron. Some stuff about cloud E2E testing, Sauce Labs, etc. So actually, as cool as Sauce Labs is, I don't use Sauce Labs, and what I recommend people do is use well, I mean, you can use Sauce Labs, I guess, but use Cypress and run that just in your CI wherever you want to, and just run it in one browser. And then you use Applitools, which I don't show you. Maybe one day I'll add that, but use Applitools. And Applitools, what is super cool about Applitools, and we actually talked about this in an expert interview on testingjavascript.com with Angie Jones. She works there. But you say, okay, Cypress, click on this, do that, and then you say, okay, take a snapshot. So Applitools will take all the DOM and send it over the wire to their servers. They will pull that DOM up in every browser. And like you can configure it, so IE 10 and all of these different browsers, and take a snapshot of it. Use their fancy AI machine learning algorithm to compare. So it's visual regression testing is what we're talking about. And then what's cool about that is like the only time that I've seen differences between browsers where like, oh shoot, I have it broken in this browser and it's working in this one, is normally it's visually, or I didn't compile my code down far enough. So if it's that one, if it's compiling problem, then you just can fix your configuration, and then you never touch that again. So there's no reason to run all of your tests just to make sure you didn't break that configuration. And if it's a visual problem, then you're going to catch that with Applitools. So I don't really see a reason to run your end-to-end tests multiple times. Just run it in one browser, use Applitools to take care of the visual problems that are different across browsers, and then you're covered. So that's, yeah, that's that. All right. Kent free course for 2019. I'm not sure what UI developer is saying there, but if you want free stuff, I've got it. You go to my YouTube channel. I have hundreds of videos on YouTube showing you how to do all kinds of things, and my blog has just tons of stuff, so you can enjoy that. Like to buy individual modules. Yeah, and we're not ever going to do individual modules. Well, always just do the packages. If you really, really want to, you can do individual modules. But what that means is you just buy one of the bundles and then just watch one of the modules. That's what it is. So effectively, that means that the testing node is the cost of buying just that one module is the cost of buying Pro. So sorry, we're not ever going to do that. Okay, what is the Chrome extension I'm using when I load the browser? It wouldn't be a live stream without this question. It's called Palette Tab. I'll just give you a link really quick. It's great. I like it. Okay, getting down to the end here, and then I'll wrap things up. Oh, thanks, Hunter. After going through V1 of your course, I was able to get much of what I learned into production code for my client in 1 week. What? Thank you, Hunter. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, it's Mikhail. I'm not sure how to say. Is it Michael or Mikhail? I don't know how to pronounce that. But this guy has done a silly amount of work on my open source projects, just like all the time. Just let me just fix this. Let me update your code, and let me just all kinds of stuff. Even on my personal projects and stuff. So thank you. Lots of work on my blog too. So thank you. Just want to shout out to Michael, or however you say your name. Thank you. Are you using a certain API for the purchase power parity, regional pricing, or did you add this completely manually? So we are using an API. I don't know what it is because I didn't build it, but they are using an API on the back end somewhere to do that, which I think is cool. I'm really glad that they did that. You already said that you teach principles. I already did the V1 course, but if I want to learn more, which path should I follow? I mean, put the learnings in practice. So the best way to do it, I kind of talked about this already, is as you're watching the material, you'll think of something that I can see how that could apply to this thing at work. So that is the best way to do it. It's like, okay, I have this problem at work. I know from testingjavascript.com, this is how you address that problem. Let me try that. That's how you solidify that. Okay. Thanks, Raghu. Thanks for being a part of those workshops. What do you think the future of 2020 plus will be? Learning React or Angular or Svelte will help? It seems too much AI and cloud going on. Do you think it's going to continue as a front-end developer? Yeah, for the next decade, I think we'll still these tools will be really relevant. The thing with AI is that once it is bad for one person, it's bad for everyone. It's like a singularity, and nobody can predict when a singularity is going to happen. So once AI becomes smarter than us, then it just accelerates rapidly, right? This is kind of a scary thought. But once that happens, then it doesn't matter whether you're Bill Gates or I don't know, somebody who doesn't have a job. It won't make a difference because AI will just do everything, and we might not survive. I don't know. That's kind of a dark note to end this live stream on, but there's that. I would definitely recommend continuing to learn React. That's what I want to continue to learn. But if you want to learn Angular or Svelte or Vue or whatever, feel free. And all of the things that you learn on testingjavascript.com will still apply. So you're good. What are my plans for next year? My biggest thing for next year, outside of just being super excited about how many people are learning testing from testingjavascript.com, is my React stuff. So I'm going to record all of my React workshops. We're going to make an epic React workshop thing, self-paced workshop like testingjavascript.com. I'm hoping to get that done before in the first half of the year, but I was hoping to get this update done in the first half of this year. So there's that. Yeah, I've been practicing this stuff. All of my remote workshops have gone super, super well. So I just record those, and you're going to love them. It's going to be so good. And then I'm probably going to be doing more remote workshops that are more focused on JavaScript, some really advanced stuff, some really beginner stuff, some HTML, some CSS, and that's to get ready for the JavaScript self-paced workshop. It's going to be great. So I'm excited. Okay, it's pronounced in Dutch. Okay, I'll have to go learn how to pronounce your name, Michael. the proper way you say Michael. Okay, cool. So that's it. Thanks, everyone. I'm super excited about this. I think you're going to love this stuff. I love it. I'm super excited about it. Please, if you have taken this and it's been helpful to you, please, please, please share it with your friends. Yeah, that like, and actually there was another thing. So somebody asked me if there's any way they can pay me for the update, even though they already have it. They just like want to say thanks. The best thing that you can do is offer to buy somebody a license. That would make their day. It would make my day. It would just be the super nicest thing that you could possibly do. Okay, maybe not possibly do. There are so many nice things you can do, but it would be a really nice thing. And so yeah, if you want to say thanks for the free update, then buy someone else a license, and that would be a really nice thing to do. So yeah, and maybe you could like pool together and buy a license together or something. But yeah, thank you so much. I wish you the very best, and I'll see you around the internet. Peace out. Now I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. Okay, stop streaming. Bye.